Hello and welcome to Tim and Joel Call It in the Ring, the wrestling podcast where we talk about wrestling every Thursday night at 8 p.m. This week, we're talking wrestling. How you doing, Joel?
I am ready to talk wrestling because you have said wrestling almost as many times as Michael Cole is called Lars Sullivan the Freak.
Yeah, well, that's what I'm going for, that Michael Cole goodness. He's a skilled broadcaster, and I aspire to be like him.
I mean, he kind of is.
He absolutely is. Like, it's hard to throw real IRL shade at Michael Cole.
The man knows how to talk, and he also knows how to be a marketing machine. So I gotta, you gotta give it to him.
You know what? He flubs a whole lot less than JR's flubbing nowadays.
JR's at that point in his career where he can get away with it.
Oh man, but it's just flub after flub after flub. It's like Flub City every Wednesday. And I love the man. I love hearing his voice. It was exciting to see him be a part of AEW, but damn, he says some weird stuff.
He just wants you to buy his
barbecue sauce.
I
don't think it's even available here. I have never seen it anywhere.
I'm being told that you are inaudible on YouTube. Well then, how about we fix that and then we can get into the real show. These are the things I worry about in my life.
See, I'm definitely audible on Twitch, so if you want to follow us on Twitch, check us out on Twitch. They can't hear me as I pitch this, but
yeah, that's true. I can say it though. You can go on Twitch and it'll fix everything. Because right now I see you on my OBS, but I don't hear you, or I guess others can't hear you. Well then, you know what? Just go to timandjoelpod.com. That's going to be the place where you find us, because that's where we're going to go live. And you know what? I'll keep saying it throughout the YouTube discussion. I'm sure it's going to come up a few more times.
Oh, you know what the problem probably is? What you should do is right-click on properties for Tim and control audio and OBS if you have not already.
Properties? It's already clicked on.
And you see me, you're getting level when I speak.
I am.
Confusing.
Right?
Well,
such confusion.
Damn, that's annoying.
What if I do that? Is it just going to double me up? The wonders of modern technology.
Thank you, YouTube, forever proving that Twitch superior. But
we'll stay with Twitch. That's what we'll do. But we'll upload the entire thing to YouTube afterwards. How's that?
There you go.
Move over to Twitch. Yeah, go over to twitch.tv/TimandJoelPod or go to timandjoelpod.com. It's all there. It's all below in the whole video. So you know what? You want to get underway? You want to do this for real, Tim?
Yeah, let's give her a go.
All right, let's talk about COVID-19.
Damn it.
That's just how we start everything now, isn't it? All right. Well, the Orange County Department of Health came down on a few hotspots for COVID-19. And it's all related to safety surrounding COVID-19. So 3 WWE venues were implicated in this investigation. They are the WWE Performance Center, the Amway Center, and can you take a wild guess?
Full Sail University.
Hey, there you go. Full Sail is the third one. So Full Sail, the Capitol Wrestling Center, also known as the Performance Center, and Amway Center were named in this. So Heel by Nature broke the story on Tuesday, or at least that's where I caught the news. Other venues that have been investigated are Crunch Fitness, 2 of their locations, never heard of them till now, an Amazon distribution center, Starbound Performers, which is like a dance studio, kind of a jazz-based dance studio, and the apartments near the University of Central Florida, also known as the Plaza on University, and the Jesus School. The Jesus School.
The Jesus School?
Yes, part of the Jeddah Church.
Okay.
Well, compliance officers are going to be visiting these places. They're going to be really checking for contact tracing is what they're going to be doing. Just trying to figure out what's going on and why these venues are hotspots and what they can do to fix that. WWE did release a statement, considering they're on this list 3 separate times, saying, quote, WWE is not open to the public, but rather operating on a closed set with only essential personnel in attendance. As part of ongoing weekly testing protocols, Adventist Labs have administered more than 10,000 PCR tests to WWE performers, employees, production staff, and crew, resulting in only 1.5% positive cases as compared to the current national average of more than 5%. That's also a giant percentage. But anyway, I digress. Continuing with the statement, additionally, extensive contact tracing takes place and impacted individuals are placed in 14-day quarantine, and then and only then are they cleared after they are negative. So first things first, 10,000 tests does not mean 10,000 people tested.
Yeah,
That's
not
the
at
first thing we
all.
need to get out of the way.
That's actually how many people are on their crew? Because like that still is a big question to me. Like if they're showing up and they're significant enough, it's like, oh, cool, it's not open to the public. But if there's, you know, a couple hundred people involved in producing this thing, yeah.
And it is because you have your staff, like you have your truck crew, you have your camera people out in the front, you have your production staff, you have your wrestlers, obviously your talent. You have a bunch of people. You have probably 100 to 200 people on staff. There's someone running catering. There's someone running, running ropes, running cabling. There's someone doing anything backstage. No one's really doubling up.
Yeah,
So
so they're trying to make this sound like not a big deal, but it's kind of like, no, this is still a problem.
yeah, absolutely. Well, John Alba from where is he from? I had it somewhere else. We're gonna get to where he's from in a minute. John Alba on Twitter was saying that these are more like checkups, not crackdowns. There have been outbreaks and hotspots, but contact tracing, I'm going to get it right one of these days, is on the menu for things that need to be checked up on by the Florida and Orange County Department of Health. So it's really OC, it's Orange County doing their due diligence. It's nothing big, but also there are still fans in NXT. So I don't know if you've been following this, Tim, about fans at the Capitol Wrestling Center.
Yeah, I mean, I heard about it. I saw today that they're paying the cost of tests, which is like, oh, like
Yeah.
smiles in Canadian.
So yeah, WWE is covering the cost of the test. They're not sending results to the fans that are tested, but fans can check the results once WWE gives clearance to the lab to do so. So Aventus Labs doing all the COVID-19 testing, doing the rapid testing. Since they're paying, it's their, I say their property, but I think people understand when I say it's a health thing. Well, no, it's like if you're,
okay.
They
It's
control
probably
the
like
test because it comes out of their insurance or their health.
yeah.
Yeah. So in other words, if a fan asks WWE, they will get the test.
They just have to
back.
submit a request. Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, exactly. So it's nothing malicious. Temperature checks are still being done at the door, and then COVID testing actually happens the day before. So on the Tuesday, for any audience that they are participating, they're cleared, and then they are individually brought in, taken to their pod, and brought to their potty. Their pod party. Their potty.
Yeah, brought to their potty. Okay, that's cute.
And of course, sanitation is available in the pods, as noted by Paul Levesque in the latest media call after Takeover 31. That's some good service. That's some plane level service, isn't it?
Not bad. Not bad.
Yeah. Well, it's the best thing they can do right now. We shit on the fact that wrestling is still going and that there are fans in the stands and that we shouldn't be running wrestling and so on and so forth. But at the same time, we're talking about it and we're still talking about the content that it creates. So really, there's no way that we can't sound like a bunch of hypocrites.
Oh, that's true. Yeah, no doubt. Yeah. No doubt. I can't even there's no defense for that. Like, I mean, we're making this show. We started this show in quarantine, kind of as a result of the downtime from, or not in quarantine, but in, lockdown times, kind of as a result of the downtime from it. So we're doing okay. I don't care.
Exactly.
Whatever. It's a choice. America lives the way it lives. Like I said off the top of this, Florida's lack of regard for human life is our game.
Yep. Once again, for anyone who's watching us on YouTube, I do apologize for the audio. If you go over to twitch.tv/Tim and Joel Pod, we are there and the audio is working properly. So consider this your redirect. timandjoelpod.com also is a place to do that. So moving on, let's talk about the 30th anniversary of The Undertaker. Tim, are you ready for The Undertaker's return?
No. Go away.
Great.
Stay home. I don't approve of this at all. I really don't get it. Truly.
Perfect. Well, WrestleVote says, quote, this upcoming November 22nd Survivor Series pay-per-view will be built around the 30th anniversary of The Undertaker, including him making a live appearance on the show. Source states as of now, The Undertaker will not be wrestling on the event.
Please don't. Like, that's all I ask is that. Like, it just reminds me so much of so many athletes who just keep pushing it too far, Like, they have a tremendous career, and they don't know when to call it quits, and it just keeps getting sadder and sadder. And, like, that Boneyard match, great way to go out. And I hope that he recognizes that and doesn't let Vince push him around.
I think it's safe to assume that someone's going to confront The Undertaker at Survivor Series.
I know. And then WrestleMania.
And there might be a match at WrestleMania when we have fans back in attendance. Let's say it goes that way. Tim, do you have an idea maybe who it could be?
There's been a few people who've been like begging for it. I'm trying to remember who they were. I remember like, I want to say AJ wanted to wrestle him again or some crap like that. I don't need to see that. Like, I don't know. Because basically at that point for me, I'm seeing AJ not at his prime wrestle Undertaker well beyond his prime. That sounds like a fantasy match made real that is only depressing. So,
well, let me tell you what's not depressing. And that is WWE's new tagline for podcasts. Yes. You have medical facilities. You have, what are other WWE isms that you can think of? We just said medical facilities. What else is there?
I'm trying to think. They've got some sayings.
Got a million, and right now I can't think of them. But the latest one, a podcast is now a conversation series. Yes, that's right. On the free WWE Network, you can find a whole bunch of new podcasters and old, including Lillian Garcia with her Chasing Glory series, Swerve Scott and his Swerve City podcast, and Sam Roberts doing Not Sam Radio. I don't know if you're familiar with Not Sam. Are you?
Not Tim? A clue. These words mean nothing.
Sam Roberts is a pretty. He's done the pre-shows. He's got with the curly tight hair and the beard, and he's got the nasally voice, and he likes to talk like this.
Oh yeah, I think I've seen him once. Yep. He made an impression, that's for sure.
Yeah, so that's Sam Roberts, and he's in it. So his first episode actually aired today. I'm not huge on Sam unless he's doing interviews. When he's doing interviews, he is phenomenal. He has great interview skills, and everything's great. But when he does this whole smarmy heel persona in WWE, it's over the top, kind of like 90s wrestling. So not really big on that.
Yeah, it's weird. I don't know.
Do you want to hear what the shows are on the free version of the WWE Network for the Conversation series?
Yeah, let's hear what the Conversation series are.
All right. On Monday, you have Lillian Garcia's Chasing Glory, which, by the way, I have a personal problem with right off the bat because I don't know if you've ever watched Chasing Glory. Lillian has a conversation with the wrestlers where they always end up crying because they go into this like therapy territory.
Why?
And Lillian is not a registered therapist.
No.
And she pulls at some strings to get to that point.
She's going manipulative. In there and just breaking people. That's monstrous.
It is. And she does it under the guise of love. And I hate it. So I don't recommend Chasing Glory if you are the person who sees past the facade of real, raw, and inspiring. Tuesday, we have Uncool with Alexa Bliss. I haven't watched it yet, but I've heard it's actually pretty good. She's interviewing a bunch of pop stars and the Bella Twins and things like that. Wednesdays, you have After the Bell with Corey Graves. That show was amazing until they decided to cut the nuts off of it and make it, After the Bell with Corey Graves, as long as we approve the content. Thursdays, we have Not Damn Wrestling, like we were just talking about. Fridays is Swerve City Podcast. By the way, watch Swerve City Podcast on YouTube now if you can, because some of those interviews have been hilarious. They're fun. He's great. He's got some amazing content. Check him out. Saturdays is Drew and A. Yes, that's Drew McIntyre's Q&A. Someone was paid to come up with the name Drew and A.
I saw. So, okay, I've seen that on Instagram, weirdly. And it was him like interviewing some like muscle guy about diet, but then it never got to a conversation about diet that I can really recall. Like it was really meandering, and I was just there to like listen to this guy talk about dieting, because the only reason it was even served to me was because it was about bodybuilding, not because it was about wrestling. Like it was on my personal Instagram where I don't have like any of the wrestling content, so it was really weird. So I don't know. Have you seen any of Drew's other stuff? Like, is it good?
No, I figured they just said, hey, you have a sexy Scottish brogue. Go and talk to people. And he said,
can the same be said for Nikki Cross, though?
All I could think about is her like jumping up into that chair on Raw Talk this past week. All right. And rounding out the week, probably the best show of the bunch, to be honest, is the New Day podcast, Feel the Power. If you haven't yet, they just had Sasha Banks on this past week. It was a fun little interview. It was about 30 minutes long. super easy to digest. And Sasha Banks was really good on it.
Awesome. Yeah, I mean, that's so much content. Damn.
Can I throw a little more content at you?
I guess I'm probably never going to be able to consume it at this point, but damn. All right.
It's going to be in 2021 because Dark Side of the Ring is coming back. Season 3 is being confirmed. It was announced on Tuesday that we are getting 14 new episodes. That is more than the other seasons combined. Not combined, but we have season 1 had 6, season 2 had 10. And yeah, we're going to be releasing that starting in 2021, which is awesome. Notable topics from the last seasons, if you haven't seen it yet, include a 2-parter on the Chris Benoit murder, New Jack's career, which is a hell of a story, the Montreal Screwjob, the Road Warriors, and the death of Owen Hart, which opened up a lot of conversations regarding Martha Hart and her involvement with pro wrestling. New merch was released afterwards through Pro Wrestling Tees, and also just speculation on her lawsuit with WWE, like statute of limitations, things like that. So that death of Owen Hart episode did the highest viewership for Vice Network ever at 626,000 viewers.
Yeah,
that's an episode of NXT.
Yeah, you can tell that they have a lot of confidence in this, and they're really well done. Like I've only seen a bit of it, but from what I have seen, like they're tremendous documentaries, and I'm looking forward to there being more, and I'm looking forward to the opportunity to actually watch all of it. It's just, again, so much content.
Yep. Involved in the project, as always, Dave Meltzer is going to be back. Dave and Bixenspan, who is everyone's favorite investigative reporter in wrestling. And Eric Bischoff mentioned that he's going to be involved this season on the show, which brings us to one episode that's going to be happening for sure, confirmed this week by Evan Husney, who is a Dark Side of the Ring producer. New Japan Pro Wrestling and WCW's Collision in Korea, the show that happened in 1995. Have you seen this show, Tim?
I have not. I'm not at all aware of it.
The highest attended show in wrestling history and in North Korea. It's like hundreds of thousands or something. The numbers are obviously inflated. It's in North Korea, for God's sake. I have the video and I'm ready to watch it. This is the comment from Husney, who was on Busted Open earlier this week. He said, quote, it was the one episode we always wanted to do, and it was one we looked at for last season. We're going to be doing the story of WCW event in North Korea. That was in 1995. Kind of one of the wilder wrestling shows that's ever been put on, because it's actually the largest attended wrestling event ever in the world. And it was in North Korea. So we're kind of telling that whole story of how that event came to be, how there was a lot of close calls with the guys over there who were pretty much in over their heads, not knowing if they're in a dictatorship, but it's going to be a pretty interesting episode for sure.
Wow. So the first couple times you said I didn't even register North Korea. And I almost said, like, South Korea has tremendous arena shows for a lot of different, like, sports. Like, they're baseball fans, they're esports fans, they're like an amazing experience. But I was thinking South Korea. And if you're saying North Korea, I was like, oh, okay. So mandated attendance is why it had the most. Why would they want to do that?
Money always.
Yeah, I guess I was about to say, why does WWE do Saudi Arabia? But yeah, you know.
Yeah. So here's one thing. There's a story out there about Scott Norton, I believe, it was something about his hotel trying to call his wife, and him being like scared shitless that he was going to be taken away by the army in North Korea. So it's going to be a really interesting series and season, and that episode is going to be one that I think a lot of people are going to walk away learning a lot from and not really realizing the implications that it had in wrestling at the time.
Yeah, man, I really gotta prioritize watching these.
You'll get there. And those dark sides, even the ones from season 1 and 2, phenomenal. Cannot recommend them enough. Well, unfortunately, we're gonna have to go back to COVID-19 news.
Yeah.
Well, I always try to put in some AEW news here, and this week the big news was that Joey Janela pulled himself out of AEW Dynamite. He was supposed to be part of the World Title Eliminator Tournament that began this past Wednesday on Dynamite. He did. Basically, what happened was GCW star and independent wrestler AJ Gray tweeted a lot, and basically he said that he tested positive on Wednesday after after he took a test for COVID-19 after GCW's Last Resort show, which was last Saturday. Okay. Gray maintains that the positive diagnosis came after his wrestling commitments. He also said that he knows who passed it on to him at one point, saying, maybe jokingly, that it was someone he sold cocaine to on Sunday.
What?
As a result, for precautions, Janela and AEW agreed to pull Janela from the World Title Eliminator Tournament that began on Dynamite, as I mentioned. So instead, Sonny Kiss, Janela's partner and tag team partner, replaced him in the match versus Kenny Omega, and that sparked some questions. But we'll get to that in our hits and misses, won't we?
I do have questions, but yeah, I'm biting my tongue until then.
You got to support your habits, and it's not your habits. Sorry, you've got to support yourself somehow. I get it. Maybe openly admitting this to how you know you got it. That's choice. Speaking of choices, did you know that Raw went off the air exactly as intended this past week?
I assumed, honestly, it seemed weird, but it seemed like a choice because they make weird choices all the time.
Well, coming from Fightful Select, the Raw script as we know it was exactly as it was supposed to be. Said, quote, the majority of the show from Retribution, The Hurt Business, Ali, Sheamus, The New Day, The Hacker Reveal, and more was already set by Sunday afternoon and didn't get changed by the time Raw started.
That's good, I guess. It felt different. I'll tell you that much. Like, the pace of the show was really quick. Like, they were jamming in a lot of stuff. And I mean, it's 3 hours, but it still felt like they were moving from thing to thing pretty quickly.
Did you enjoy Raw this week compared to other weeks?
I don't know. I think so, but I think they might have done it at the cost of SmackDown. Like, I think they just swapped which shows they're going to make good. Like I was enjoying SmackDown before. Not so much this week, but
for Raw this week, not a big fan. And I know we'll get into that with hits and misses, but it was not a well put together show. It
felt weird. Like, yeah.
Which is upsetting because this was a Raw that was, critically panned and already put together without changes. And then Raws that are rewritten at the last minute almost sometimes do better.
Some of them, yeah, for sure.
Some of them. I hope that doesn't become a thing. Meanwhile, PW Insider is reporting that Keith Lee is in studio recording vocals for his theme music today. Finally, we can get new music for Keith Lee.
I don't think he's a tremendous rapper, but this new theme is terrible. Like, it can't be worse than what they've done with this. So whatever. Good. I don't see what was wrong with the old one if they're just going to do it again, but
the old one, honestly, what it came down to was that CFOs made the old theme, the old producers.
Yeah.
So now they're trying to get the new producers, and we can talk about them later, but they are the ones who are spearheading his new music. Right now he has some basic rock track, and supposedly it's going to change. So that's been the main thing wrestling fans have been on about him and his look since he debuted on Raw. Other than that, it was the attire, which has since changed.
Yeah, which I think they found if they needed to change it, they found a happy compromise finally.
Yeah. Speaking of happy compromises, Impact has finally agreed to release Daga. Do you remember Daga?
Nope, not a clue. Who's Daga?
Daga's Tessa Blanchard's husband.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can't see them getting on amicably.
Well, apparently Daga asked for his release a while ago, several months. Impact dragged their heels to granting it because they wanted to re-sign Daga. But then him and Tessa got married. Tessa's no longer with Impact. That's how it goes.
I mean, with how that went down, like, even talented though they may be, like, you can't, I don't know. Like, you wouldn't have gotten on amicably after that. That's all I could say. Like, just let him go. You missed an opportunity, but I don't know. I don't even fully understand. It was just Tessa not wanting to travel during COVID. Is that what happened here? Like, I don't even.
Nobody's really going to know because Tessa's not going to really tell anybody.
Yeah, exactly. Like, it was just not happy.
There were certain things that were supposedly asked of her as well while she was Impact champion. She was expected to send certain videos, like promos, that she refused to do. So that became a thing.
Bad writing, or just like, I don't want to do my job?
Let's move on.
Okay.
Speaking of Impact, though, you watched Impact this week.
Yeah, I did. Yeah, I got through it. It was good.
How did you feel? Did you have anything that you really liked out of it?
I mean, I thought the six person tag was really good. It was a good match. Like, it felt really like it was definitely a go home show. They called it. They said that explicitly in the show, and it was just like, yeah, it was all in service to getting to the pay-per-view Bound for Glory, and They re-aired some packages, which I didn't really get, but whatever. It was fine.
Strange.
Yeah.
Two of the packages that I really liked were actually the Kylie Ray and Deonna Purrazzo.
Yes.
Those promos were fantastic.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I was big on that. Got through Impact as well. Hey, you know what? Bound for Glory is this Saturday night at 8 p.m. on Fight TV and on traditional pay-per-view, though I don't know why you'd spend that money when you can spend it on Fight.tv. Anyway, you'd laugh about, you want to do some predictions? Maybe talk about the card for a second?
Yeah, let's go through it. I assume you have it written out because I sure as hell haven't.
That's why they pay me the big bucks.
Woohoo! Okay.
That and for telling you when Pat McAfee comes back to NXT. We'll get that out of the way shortly. And when Lana gets a title shot.
Yeah, well, barely. We'll talk about that too.
All right. Well, for the Impact World Championship, champion Eric Young's going to take on Rich Swann. Probably the best storytelling going on in Impact right now. A lot of drama. Tim, what do you think? Who's going to win?
Who's going to win? I think Eric Young will retain. We'll see. Could go either way. What I find funny, why I was laughing there is because I was remembering their bit on Tuesday where both Rich and Eric are just like, the noises they make, man, when they fight are so weird. Like, especially Eric. He sounds like a gremlin. He's like, nah, 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 and he's punching. And like, it takes me right out of it. Like, because, you're used to making that noise in the ring when you're in front of a live audience because it helps to mask, and amplify things. But like when it's stripped down, boy, does it sound goofy. So I don't know. Just listening to Eric and Rich like grunt while they punch each other was just hilarious to me. It's a pretty good match.
Yeah. It is. And again, it's got the right story behind it. So I'm really looking forward to seeing how that plays out. I don't even know if this match even needed the Impact Championship to begin with. It was already, a pretty high stakes match. It was already, seated in the broken leg that Rich Swann had. So it's a pretty intense match going into Saturday.
Yeah.
I think Eric Young still wins it though.
Yeah, same. They've got, he's got a lot of history there, as does Rich, but like he's got enough history that I think they want to give him a good title run. So
yeah. Moving on, we were just talking about the Impact Championship, the Impact Women's Championship, also known as the Knockouts Championship. Deonna Purrazzo, the champion, taking on Smiley Kylie Ray. It's going to be an excellent match. No bones about it. And Purrazzo has been on fire ever since she debuted in Impact, cutting the promo of her life this past week, as I mentioned.
Yeah.
And Kylie Ray's got a lot going on. She's been showing her mean streak lately, but the question I have is, will Susie factor into the finish? Tim, what do you think?
Yeah, I think she'll show up. I don't know where they're going to take things from here. I don't know who's going to win. I'd be happy with either result. So I'm just mostly looking forward to see what they do with it. Like, this is one that I feel like I can't make a ton of predictions about.
Are you pulling the Marge Simpson? I hope both sides have fun.
I do hope both sides have fun.
I am going to say that Purrazzo retains.
Yeah, that's a safe one.
It's safe, but also I think Susie might come into play and maybe turn on Kylie. I think it's time to see Su Yung, the undead bride, maybe bring more fire out of Kylie Ray. I think that's time.
Oh, undead brides. So many.
Maybe you should stop killing them. For the Impact World Tag Team Championships, we have the Motor City Machine Guns. They're the champions, taking on the Good Brothers, Madman Fulton and Ace Austin, and the North, also known as Ethan Page and Josh Alexander.
They've been building this match for what, 2.5 to 3 months? Like, it feels like an eon. Like, yeah, it better be good. I've seen them all in the ring so many times. I don't know what they can add to it.
I agree. That's part of the problem. I mean, listen, we're all going to sit back and enjoy the fight. It's still going to be good. The Good Brothers still, I think, have a lot to prove in terms of their work because they were paid a lot of money, and they talk about it all the time. It's a lot of money to come to Impact. But unfortunately, you can only talk about making so much money for so long before you have to, put up or shut up.
Yeah, I mean, they got a lot on their plate. They got Talking Shop-A-Mania 2 coming up, too. So they're busy boys. Right.
Yes, they are. So who you got in this match?
Good Brothers. You gotta put,
Damn
it's
it.
probably in their contract. Like title owner. Oh, I just smacked my microphone. Title owners within the next or the first 3 months of signing. I don't know.
It's part of the deal. I'm gonna go with Madman Fulton and Ace Austin. I want to go down that rabbit hole.
It's worth a shot.
I think those two can maybe hold on to the titles for a little bit. Let Motor City in the North have a few more matches. Have the Good Brothers kind of go up against Madman Fulton and Ace Austin. Maybe it's time to cement the Good Brothers as good or bad, as heel or face.
Yeah.
There's been a lot of go between with those guys.
It has been unclear.
Yes. So maybe it's time to clear it up a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Here's a messy situation in and of itself. The X Division situation, the championship on the line. Rohit Raju, the champion, taking on Chris Bay, taking on Jordan Grace, Trey Miguel, TJP, Willie Mack. Wow, that's a lot of people.
That's a lot of people.
Jordan Grace pinned Rohit 2 weeks ago on Impact, setting up Scott D'Amore making this match. So the question is, Tim, who's going to walk away with the X Division title on Saturday?
I really hope it's Jordan Grace, honestly. Like, I think that would be a good direction to take things. She's fantastic. Kudos to the way this came about. Like, that Scott D'Amore consistently so good, and the bit he did to set this match up was phenomenal. So, like, I don't know. I'm excited for this one. This might be the one I'm the most excited for.
Okay.
I agree. A lot of good people in that match. So,
Grace is the third woman, I believe, to challenge for the X Division title. So no woman has held it yet, just waiting for one to win. So you might be on the right track. Raju, by the way, if you go to Fightful's wrestling channel on YouTube, they did a preview and prediction show with Sean Ross Sapp, and Raju cut a promo on this match.
Oh yeah.
So if you do, go take a look at that. It's going to be good.
Hot day. I love him. Like I've never heard of him. I only restarted watching Impact when we started doing this, so like 3 months. And he was immediately like, this guy's great. Like, I really love his character. He's great in the ring. He plays a tremendous heel. Like, love that guy.
Yep, I agree. In and out of wrestling, it's been great. It's a Call Your Shot Gauntlet match going on. AC Romero, Alicia Edwards, Cody Deaner, Brian Myers, Havoc, Heath, Hernandez, Larry D, Rhino, Taya Valkyrie, Tennille Dashwood, Tommy Dreamer, and TBD.
So this is a match that's existed before?
Yes, very much so.
Okay, see, I know nothing about this. Does this happen at every Bound for Glory? Is it a tradition?
Not every Bound for Glory, but for the last couple of years, it's been a go-to match for a few of the pay-per-views.
Okay,
the
so
winner
like
gets
a mini... It's like a mini Rumble where they get to fill time on a pay-per-view.
Yeah, you got 20 people, and the winner gets a shot at any Impact Championship. So, not bad. Rhino, however, enters number 1. Hernandez enters number 20 because this past week on Impact, Rhino was pinned by Hernandez. And this is my favorite stipulation from the whole thing. If Heath or Rhino win, Heath wins a full-time contract with Impact Wrestling. If neither win, Rhino is fired.
Which is pretty funny. I have a question, though.
Go ahead.
Heath was offered a contract. He just didn't like it.
It was a shitty contract.
It's probably, doesn't matter what's on it, probably what Heath deserves.
Probably is. Now, here's my question. If Heath pins Rhino, does Heath get a contract and Rhino keeps his job?
Yeah, I think so. It's a win-win for both parties. Maybe that's how it ends.
That's so weird. It's such a weird way to do it. So the two of them have to team. I don't know what they're going to do. It's a weird stipulation to add, but
look, Scott D'Amore has been a busy man. He's got a lot on his plate, if you haven't noticed. So he's gonna let the ball drop a few times, and this might be one of them.
All right, let's talk about cinematic matches. Moose is going to take on EC3. It's going to be a cinematic match, hold in a quote-unquote undisclosed location. One of my favorite parts about this is, if you think about it, EC3 has been doing ROH appearances, so this is perfect for EC3 to be on Bound for Glory and still be able to participate in the ROH bubble. So safe to say that this match has already been shot and in the can. So what do you think? Who's going to win it? And it's going to be nuts?
Yeah, I think the match itself is going to be really good. Who's gonna win? Probably EC3. Is this his first like match since being back?
I believe so.
he's weird to me. I don't know. Again, like it just shows my ignorance. Like until we started, I was only here for pay-per-views before we started doing this up again, and I don't know anything about EC3. And you've mentioned he's like a big character wrestler. His character is confusing and exhausting to me.
So EC3 as the character wrestler before he went to WWE was easier to understand. He was Ethan Carter III. He was Dixie Carter, who was the owner of Impact in real life and also on screen. He was her nephew. So he was this, completely deserving megalomaniac. I deserve the world and I'm young and I'm hip and blah, blah, blah. And it worked. He was a great heel, and he was not always comedic, but he was always really good. And so he's been an Impact champion and so on and so forth. And then he went to WWE and everything went to shit. And now he's back in Impact, cut his hair, grew a beard, and now he's controlling his narrative, whatever that means.
Yeah. And that seems to be the theme to his character, is using a lot of words that he doesn't understand.
EC3, by the way, this week came out and said that he thinks Raw Underground was an idea that was stolen from him.
Good for you for admitting. No one. Okay.
Does that mean the cinematic match with Moose and EC3 at Bound for Glory is going to be like a Raw Underground match? Full of camera cuts and like just a ring with no ropes and like 50 people tapping and cheering, and Shane McMahon makes a cameo
and is just shouting in the back. I'm surprised anyone wants to claim that as their idea. Like,
he says he and his buddy JC, who's also it's basically Drake Maverick. JC, not Jesus Christ. No, he said him and his buddy JC had started making videos, like shoot fight style videos, and wanting to do it for a wrestling thing for WWE, and then it never happened. So instead, we ended up doing this.
Cool. Yeah. I mean, I kind of liked where this story was going, but I feel like it went off the rails like the last 2 weeks. Like the bridge scene was weird to me. It didn't really. Yeah.
Oh, at the end when he beat up and left EC3 all bloody?
Yeah. And then like this abduction thing this week. I don't know. It's not working for me.
Yeah, it felt weird at the end. I'm looking forward to the match, but I don't think I'm not looking forward to it as much as I was weeks ago.
Same. Yeah.
Yeah. So who you got?
Like I said, EC3. It's his first match back, so I see him going over. But
I want to see Moose win and then maybe challenge for the Impact World Championship.
That would be good. I'd also like to see that. I just don't know if that's what's going to happen,
And that only works if Rich Swann wins the championship.
Yeah.
Because at that point, Rich is an undeniable babyface and Moose is an absolute shit of a heel.
Yeah.
So we're going to find out at a Saturday at Bound for Glory. And then finally on the card, we've got Ken Shamrock taking on Eddie Edwards, and Sami Callihan will be in the corner of Ken Shamrock. Ken Shamrock, by the way, who is being inducted into the Impact Hall of Fame with endorsement from Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson.
Yeah, cool.
Speaking of Sami Callihan, he did say that he dropped 25 pounds and is working to be in the best shape of his career, which is great. Told that
to manage Ken Shamrock.
Yeah.
It's just weird. It's a weird juxtaposition there. That conversation, like,
look at Shamrock, look at the shape that he's in, and look at Callahan. I'd probably want to look a little bit better than the 50-something-year-old in the ring too.
Yeah, for when Ken inevitably snaps on Sammy, he's got to be ready.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
So who wins?
Ken? I don't know.
This is the match where I don't even want to call it.
He shouldn't win, but I could see him winning.
I mean, Eddie Edwards, it won't matter if you pin him because they'll probably just give him the Impact World Championship again shortly.
Yeah.
So that's all I got. I will see. I think there's more on the Ken Shamrock bone than anything else.
Same.
All right. Well, that's our predictions for Bound for Glory. That's going to be on Fight TV on Saturday at 8 p.m. If you want our Hell in a Cell predictions, you got to go this weekend to PW Unlimited. That's where we do our weekly draw series. But when there's a pay-per-view, we got to tell them what the predictions are going to be. We got to pop a rating for PW Unlimited, don't we, Tim?
Yeah, we do. We got to put on our Nostradamus caps and do our best. And I've been pretty correct. Just saying.
Yes,
you have gotten a lot right. Not that it's that hard.
Go over to PW Unlimited, check them out. How about our Indie of the Week?
How about it?
I'm gonna go a little bit off the side. I know normally we'll talk about a show that's coming up, maybe a live show, whatever it is. But I want to talk about The Masked Wrestler. Now, The Masked Wrestler is a show on independentwrestling.tv and on fight.tv. It's Wednesdays at 10 p.m. You can find it on those two sites I just mentioned. And the idea of The Masked Wrestler is that it disguises the identity of 8 of today's top independent wrestlers and puts them in a single elimination tournament to determine who will be crowned the mystery opponent and earn an IWTV Independent Wrestling Championship opportunity. The IWTV Independent Wrestling Champion right now is Warhorse. And everyone knows that Warhorse is here to rule ass. So here's the catch. If you lose in the tournament, you must reveal your identity.
Ooh.
So basically everyone is El Gran Gordo, and we're trying not to show that we're Otis.
Okay.
All right.
I'm curious.
Jury members include... what?
I'm curious about that. That sounds like an interesting little premise.
Well, the jury includes AEW star Chris Statlander, independent wrestlers Billy Dixon, and Mr. Brickster, whom you might also remember as Romance from VH1's I Love New York. I never watched that show.
I don't even know what that is.
Great. Well, either way, The Masked Wrestler is actually a really fun watch if you have a chance. The first episode's free. It's on YouTube. Just search The Masked Wrestler. If not, Wednesdays, 10 p.m. on independentwrestling.tv and on fight.tv for our international fans.
Hold on.
But I think you should watch. Go.
VH1 still exists?
Yeah, totally. No.
Did they did the same thing as at MTV where it's just reality shows now?
I mean, it's much music in Canada is the same way.
Okay.
You know that Corner Gas is coming back, by the way?
No, why? Why would it come back?
The animated series. Oh,
series. Yeah, I knew about that. That's fine. Lance Storm's in it. Yeah.
Yeah, Lance Storm, Bret Hart, Trish Stratus.
Awesome. Love that.
Yeah.
Love all
They're
that.
all making the media rounds. Bret Hart was just on Fightful, and Lance Storm was just on the Wrestling Inc. Daily today, actually.
Oh, he's fun.
Yeah.
I like him.
Good stuff. Brent Butt's going to be on the Wrestling Inc. Daily next week. So talking about his experience doing Corner Gas season 3, the animated series.
Is Brent Butt a wrestling fan? He strikes me as probably a wrestling fan. Yeah.
Yeah. Apparently growing up in Saskatchewan, he was a big wrestling fan as a kid.
That's good. It's good stuff.
So check it out. If you're not Canadian and you don't know Corner Gas, it was a big show on CTV, Canadian television, and it was live action. And then after like 7 seasons, it ended, and they moved over to an animated series, which is equally as fun. And they did a movie too.
Yeah, for some clarity, like if you liked Schitt's Creek, like it's a pretty similar kind of vibe to it. So I know Schitt's Creek's blowing up in the US a bit, with it coming up on Netflix, I think. So anyway, similar stuff. Check it out.
And if you go on Amazon Prime, if you're in the US, you can actually watch that animated series of Corner Gas. So take a look, get ahead of it, and watch those interviews when they drop, because now it's time for hits and misses, isn't it, Tim? All right, let's go back. Can you remember a week ago, Friday? I don't remember what I did Saturday. So, what'd you like about SmackDown?
What did I like about SmackDown? Sheamus and Kofi were excellent.
That was on Raw.
Oh my God. You're totally right. No, you know what? Most of SmackDown sucked. I like that Daniel Bryan's back. That's about it. They were on SmackDown not that long ago. Cut me some slack.
Yes, they were. What about the closing segment was really good too with Jay and Roman. The beatdown.
It was.
I love you too beatdown.
That was really good. That was solid.
Yeah, I think honestly part of the problem with us in SmackDown is that we talk about it the next day on PW Unlimited, so it just in and out of our heads by the time we do this show.
On to the next 1,000 wrestling things, since the WWE insists on trying to dominate every sphere of media.
Yeah, but I agree. Daniel Bryan coming back was wonderful, and him versus Seth has to happen.
Yep.
I'm waiting for it, ready for it. So we just have to get past what I really didn't like about SmackDown, which is Seth and the Mysterios continuing.
Same. Can't.
Why?
Tired of it. So tired.
And why do we beat up Braun just because?
I don't know. Because
it was
it's a punishment, I guess. I don't know. They weren't happy with his They weren't happy with his title reign, I guess, even though it's their fault.
I guess so. And you know what? I'll give you one more thing that I didn't really enjoy about SmackDown. The opening segment with Triple H and Stephanie in the ring and children come gather around the fountain and wait for teachers to give you, your lesson plan.
I think I wrote in my notes, like, Triple H gives us yet another completely weird and uncomfortable opening. Like, Stephanie's presence there was fine, but the second Triple H opened his mouth, I was just like, what? Oh, please stop.
See, I love Triple H because he was like in full on do not give a damn mode.
That's what he feels like. I don't know.
Super freak, and he starts dancing. Come on.
That was so weird.
That was wonderful. That was perfect. I needed that in my life.
I didn't like it.
All right, let's move on to Raw. What'd you like?
I think I already said it. Sheamus and Kofi were great.
Oh, maybe you have more than one thing.
Yeah. No, I mean, that was the best part, honestly, because I really liked the promos they cut before as well. Like, I thought Sheamus did a great job being heel. I love him. Like, I think he's really, really good. New Day came back. There was a really good back and forth. So I enjoyed that. And the match that followed was also solid. So appreciate that.
Did you like Bray's Funhouse? The final Bray Wyatt scene.
Loved it. Really did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Really enjoyed him unpacking the Funhouse and, introducing us to everyone, and the Ramblin' Rabbit little segment there, the flashback was cute. I liked it. And then, of course,
you've never asked, man.
You have a wife?
It was great. I really enjoyed it. And then they finally introduced Alexa. And yeah, there you go.
Perfect. And Lana is now 0-5 versus the table.
Yeah. I mean, look, what's real? Okay, so there's the rule of threes in comedy. WWE gives no shit. Like, that is very... Yeah, the rule of 15s. It's not funny until Vince McMahon stops laughing. Or it's funny until Vince McMahon stops laughing. But damn, like, I don't know.
And then it's a fart joke.
Yeah, like I might be over it now. 5 times is a lot.
All right, what about AEW? What'd you like? Oh, did we actually talk about what we didn't like?
No, we didn't talk about what we
try to be so happy here.
What we just talked about is a perfect transition, because I don't like that the Lana Asuka match was like nothing. It was just like a short, disappointing. Like, I don't think, like, what was the point of it then? Like, if they're not going to build Lana, what was the point of all of that?
I mean, again, the whole idea here was that it's a battle royal, anyone can win, and we're just trying to tell the story of Lana not totally sucking despite being told that she does.
I mean, she totally sucked though. So, like,
yeah, she then went and had a one-on-one match and totally sucked. I get it. And also but she was never going to be very good against okay. Her delivery, her match, everything leading up to it was actually really good. She did a whole bunch of promos on social media and was really good. The match itself was fine because Lana is not known for having good matches, but you can see there's been improvement. That said, what did you expect? It wasn't going to be a 10-minute, banger. It was going to be maybe 5 minutes, and it was going to end with the Oscar lock. And it was going to be because of a really bad transition that Lana got caught into.
Yeah, I know. I felt like it could have been given a little bit more time. Like, not a ton. Like, another couple of minutes would have been fine with me, but it just felt really short. I don't know.
Yeah. No, I get it. It's a little bit weird to go that route and have a match like that.
But that's, like I said, I felt like everything this week on Raw was just like, it just moved so quickly, and there wasn't a whole lot of time to like process what was even happening in my mind. Building towards what did you not like?
The draft doesn't matter anymore.
Yeah, like
you had Ruby Riott and Liv show up, and Otis. I don't give a shit if he's El Gran Gordo or El Gran Fatso. I don't care. He showed up on Raw, and they knew it, and they played it. It was just, it's illogical. You can say, oh, it's this season premiere, therefore it's okay. But no, it's not. Some
flexibility, even though they're like, I don't know. It made no sense. And then, like, it was just a lot of quick-paced confusion, ending with Drew walking in the Hell in a Cell and it just ending, which is the weirdest decision. Like that's just bad story. Yeah, like, that's bad storytelling. Like, you're deliberately not showing the action, which is weird.
I also couldn't care less to see Keith Lee and Braun Strowman again. Braun Strowman in the Nope column in a Rochambeau contest.
It's going to be a ball versus ball match. That's what that's building to. Or a ball for a ball. That's what it's going to be. Yeah.
I thought that was happening at Talking Shop Mania. What the hell?
Yeah.
And finally, you beat Retribution. Congratulations, you buried your own big ratings award thing. At least Ali saved it later with that promo. It was good.
Yeah,
It
he
wasn't
did.
good enough.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree.
That's
100% agree with that.
All right, let's be happier.
Yeah.
What'd you like about? Let's talk about AEW.
So this
First of all, hold on. How do you like your steak?
medium rare. That's how
good.
that's
Okay,
how
the right answer.
steaks are made.
Yes. Yeah, that's the right answer. Thank you. Okay.
Yeah.
Just making sure. And baked potatoes, by the way, you called it.
I did call it. Again,
Yep. AEW
clairvoyant
Unlimited.
right here.
Weekly draw. Yep.
I thought
They
the
sang. They sang. God damn it. They sang and danced.
They sang. Which, like, look, I appreciate in wrestling specifically getting my expectations subverted. And I did not see that happening at all. And so many people are angry, and I love it. I love it. I was looking at Twitter, and I was like, yes, give me your hate, you weird nerds. Like,
this is where it matters who you follow on social media, because my timeline was full of people just laughing their asses off and loving this.
Okay, so I saw both. I saw a healthy volume of both. But to me, like, the fact that anyone is angry about their wrestling show not being serious is insane to me. Like, I get it, different strokes. You can like different things, and like things like Mox and Eddie's promos are really like serious and great. Like, that's good. But there absolutely has to be humor in wrestling, because you can't take this that seriously. You just cannot. Like, if you're a person of any intelligence, you cannot, like, not see some humor in these shows, in my mind. So, like, this was great. I loved that segment. I had no idea that was coming, and it was pretty good. There was some lip sync issues with MJF when they did the once more at the end, which was pretty funny as well. But
yeah, that too.
But it was great.
Jericho came out actually after Dynamite. I don't know if you saw the video, and basically said they wrapped shooting on that last night at 2 a.m. or 2 nights ago at 2 a.m. And then they had like 20 minutes to finish it up so they can put it into the show.
Yeah, because that's wrestling, baby. Like,
and also it's worth pointing out, MJF is a better singer than the guy who has a rock band.
He started a little shaky. And he got much better near the end. But either way, I agree.
Hey man, there was a young Maxwell Friedman who once showed up on the Rosie O'Donnell show in the 90s, and he sang his heart out.
Oh, that's adorable.
And that's why I want Rosie O'Donnell to moderate the town hall next week on AEW Dynamite.
That would be great. I wonder what she's up to nowadays. Okay.
Being crazy. Oh, no, not her. Sorry,
not her. You're thinking of Roseanne. I do the same thing. Rosie O'Donnell, Roseanne. I don't know what it is, but anyway.
Yeah. Rosie did an interview with Mark Maron a few months ago. Check that out on WTF.
Oh, he's great
WTF
too. I love him.
Yes, I like him.
I love a lot of people today. Damn, feeling very
Yay.
affectionate. Okay, so here's a mark of, like, AEW's 1 year. You remember me saying, like, I felt kind of about it, and that this show felt like a better built show. I love this show. Like, that segment that I derived that much joy out of wasn't even like my favorite thing of the show. And I had a hard time deciding between my favorite thing. So Phoenix and Penta's match was excellent, and the main event was excellent. And I had a really hard time deciding which one was my favorite. I'd say the main event in the end. A lot happened. It was really exciting. Some scary moments that I know everyone's been talking about, but
both matches had it too. Those scary moments.
Yeah,
so
it's true.
That took away the next day when I realized the Reynolds spot. It's like a full minute of Reynolds being on the mat, not moving, not being moved, not being checked on. Can't do that. You cannot do that. And it's up to the referee to deal with that stuff. But I agree. Great. Both of them. Great matches. Phoenix with that finish was absurd. Yeah. A Canadian Destroyer wins a match in 2020.
I don't know. It was a really good show. And like Patel Ron saying, favorite Eddie Kingston promo, man.
Yep.
Every time that guy brings it. Like I had no idea who he was until AEW, and God, I hope they give him the title, because like the both of them, like they both cut excellent promos. Mox's every single feud he's built has been all him, like doing tremendous work. Everyone's doing a great job. Damn.
That was on my list. I steak dinner, and I'll talk about it because the world's been talking about steak dinner, and it was great. And Mox and Kingston, absolutely. I had Kenny's entrance as one of my favorites.
Excellent. You know what? Excellent.
Stupid.
Like, Cody, pay attention.
Yeah. It's one thing to not take yourself so seriously, and it's another thing to do what Cody does.
Oh, like,
I didn't need it. I really did not need it.
No.
The Cody entrances.
Yeah. But Kenny's was great. And like, with like bikini girls coming out, I'm a little bit hesitant on that. I liked it here. It was very good.
Yeah. It was over the top.
Exactly.
Yeah. So all in all, fun. I mean, my miss is going to involve Kenny Omega in a minute, but I actually want to also spotlight Britt Baker's improvement, because this is a woman who came into AEW with like maybe 3 years behind her in wrestling, and went through school for legitimately went through dentistry school to became a wrestler while she was in school, and like wrestled on the indies, and she's now sitting under the learning tree of so many incredible wrestlers, and her partner is a top tier wrestler in NXT and used to be a top tier wrestler wherever he went, still is. You can see that she listens, and you can see that she brings that into her work, and it's excellent.
Yeah.
So Britt Baker, top notch.
Yeah. And like, she has the best gimmick. Like, she's set for life, in my opinion, with that. Like, it's such a good idea. And you're basically just taking Kane's old thing, but being real.
It's 90s WWF, but working.
Yeah. And it's great. It's so good. Like,
go ahead. Yeah.
No, like it was a decent match, like very fun to watch, great finisher. She's got everything. Like,
I'll give you what I didn't like, and I'll go back to Kenny. I didn't like the last minute change, and I didn't like the match being 15 seconds. I get why, and I'm starting to think about why you might have Kenny run through his opponents and then have to face off against Adam Page, who has to go through these grueling matches to get there. There's a story there, I guess you could tell, but I don't really think the Phoenix match is going to be a 1-2-3 squash.
It can't
be,
those right?
Before.
Exactly. Yeah. So that's really funny, because my mind went through the exact same thing. Like, my nope is also that match. Like, I don't like seeing Sunny get squashed like that. It was just kind of silly. I did appreciate that they didn't do the typical heel beatdown at the end, and it was like some legitimate respect. That kind of softened the blow for me on that. But my head went to the same place. It was like, okay, I see what they might be trying to do. There is a story to be told here. Would the result have been the same with Joey in the ring? And yeah, I could see them doing that. Yeah. So like, it's just like, and the logical solution is to put Sunny there since they're tag team partners. So it's not like, it feels weirder. Like, I also wouldn't have liked it if Joey got squashed, but I get what they're doing.
So, and the other side of it too, with the way that they did this match, is at least Sunny was brought in as a very last minute replacement.
Yeah.
So it makes it sound like Sunny wasn't ready and immediately got squashed because they didn't know what they were getting into.
Yeah. And I mean, it is, the cleaner. So
yeah,
it's hard to fight.
Yeah. I mean, you could have also picked the opponents based on their ranks, because we like to talk about how AEW has a ranking system and they tout it all the time, and
they sure do.
Real Sports Feel and all that stuff, and they don't do it. So that was kind of could have done better, but
yeah, the Real Sports
it up enough.
The Real Sports thing keeps coming up. I don't get it. I don't get the appeal of it. I can watch Real Sports. There's so many Real Sports. Like,
no, I mean, not right now.
Yeah,
you got the World Series or bust.
No, they're
MMA.
UFC's happening on Saturday, man. Anyway,
it's gonna be a crazy weekend too. The people I talked to who are covering all this stuff, good luck.
Yeah, man.
The other thing that really bugs the shit out of me on AEW, and this is weekly now, is that the women are given the death slot.
Yeah.
Every single week, if they're on the show at all, they're on at 9:30 after a major angle. Last week it was the TNT title match. This week it's steak dinner. What are you doing? What are you accomplishing? Touting your women's division, telling us to stay tuned. It's hard to stay tuned when you just had your hot moment and now you're bringing the cool down match in the women's division.
Yeah.
What does that accomplish for anyone? So when they said it's going to be Abaddon taking on Tai Conchi next week, I'm like, great. It'll be at 9:30 next Wednesday. Now I know when I'm looking for the women's match.
Yep, pretty much.
Can't do it.
Anyway.
I didn't like that. And I just want the women's division to be given something. You have a champion in Hikaru Shida who doesn't have an opponent for Full Gear. Meanwhile, the entire card's been set up, and Shida only comes out, they dust her off once every 3 weeks for a random match?
Pretty much.
Come on, man.
Yeah, the storytelling isn't as good for them. Like, they're not doing the women's division justice, which they now have one that runs pretty deep after that gauntlet. So I don't know.
And they had to prove it. They had to prove that they did. And the pandemic is both the best and worst thing to have happened to their women's division. The worst because most of their Japanese talent got stuck.
Yeah.
And the best because they finally looked to the independents in the United States and said, oh shit, we have great talent. We can start using them and taking advantage of what's out there that's not already in WWE, who have the deepest women's talent pool in North American wrestling right now. And are using it in the case of NXT, especially.
Very well. So
bugs the hell out of me, man.
Yeah, it's a shame.
Give me your NXT.
NXT favorite. I know yours, and I don't want to give you any. Yeah, I'm not giving you that, okay? I liked the training wheel segment. I thought that was excellent. It was
very funny.
Why does this wheel want me dead?
I told them I hate wheels.
Yeah. Honestly, they're doing it so right every week. Love it.
Yep. What do you think about the hat?
Oh, it was good. That was great. Another great segment. And
freaking out.
Loomis in the background, just like.
They're not even trying to hide him anymore. They're just putting him wherever they can see him in the background.
It was great. I love it. I'm looking forward to that match. I don't know what that stipulation is. Maybe a cinematic, but.
No, I don't know about that. I think
so?
It'll just be weapons around the area. It might be a backstage. Maybe, you know what? Fine. Maybe it will be a cinematic match. I'm down with that. Why not?
We'll see.
Why not?
Well, what about you?
Really like?
Nah.
The 2 weeks ago on PW Unlimited, we talked about who shot Adam Cole, and guess who did it? Guess who did it? The guy I told you.
It is the guy you told me.
Yes, Pat McAfee is back, and I am all about it. And I'm really interested in seeing what he has in store for ones and twos for Orkin and Birch.
Yeah.
As the new tag champions.
Yeah. I'm sad
That's gonna be good.
I'm sad about Breezango.
They'll be fine.
It was a good
They'll
match.
go back up to SmackDown. SmackDown needs tag teams. They'll lose it over there.
I'd happily watch them on SmackDown. Bring them up. Bring them up, WWE. They deserve it. They're so good.
That 6-man tag. That was good stuff. That was great. You want to talk about great wrestled matches? A few spots that were scary as hell, but overall, I really enjoyed that.
It's good.
And finally, going back to the women, Ember Moon and Dakota Kai is going to be a great feud. Match, feud, I don't care what you call it. It's going to be great.
Yeah, whatever they do, it's going to be awesome.
That's right. What did you not like about NXT? And there's a lot. It was actually a solid show.
Yeah, it was. I mean, it usually is. Like, they're probably top for me out of everything, honestly. I don't know what they're going to do with Xia Li.
Yeah.
And it's not that I dislike it. I just don't know what they're going to do.
I have a feeling. I don't know. Actually, what really made me weird was that Casey Catanzaro got the match, and we talked about that as well on our PW Unlimited show. That I thought it was going to be Jessie Kamea, and then they gave Jessie to Ember, which was actually a really good match. Got more out of Jessie than I thought it would. But to see Casey take on Xia was weird because I thought that Casey and Kaden Carter were in the process of turning heel, but I guess not.
No.
So now Xia is going to be, and again, I'd rather see Kaden and Casey stay as faces and have Xia turn. I think that makes more sense to me.
No, it does. It was just like a weird execution.
Where they go with it I don't know. It's going to depend on what the whole Boa situation is, like what he brings to the partnership.
I think it's I need this. Like it feels weird. I don't know what's happening. So I'm curious to see where they take it.
Maybe if she loses, she can't have her kickboxing amateur freestyle match on Saturday in Florida. She's doing that. Apparently.
Is that real? That doesn't
yeah.
That seems like an insurance concern. I'm surprised that that's happening.
They're allowing it to happen. It's going to be a Guilt nightclub. It's online, but you can find it. It's happening this Saturday on the internet somewhere.
I
She's
don't care enough.
going to be Zaya Zhao is doing her kickboxing match debut. Amateur
Kickboxing. Okay.
Kickboxing. Austin Theory quits. That's all I didn't like. There were other things, I'm sure.
Don't tease me like that. Like
Exactly. Please go over to NXT UK with the rest of them, and we'll be fine.
We wish him the best in all his future endeavors.
I'm sure we'll see him in 2 weeks or less.
Yeah, I know. It sucks.
All right. Speaking of sucks, there ain't much to talk about with SmackDown, but we're low on time anyway. The biggest thing that was just announced on WWE.com, Roman Reigns will finally reveal what the consequences are for the I Quit Hell in a Cell match versus Jey Uso. So
I quit the family.
Oh, you think it's going to be that?
I mean, that's stupid and doesn't make sense because that's not how family works, but sure.
I mean, Bailey has to sign a contract and she won't sign it. So why not quit the family?
Maybe.
I mean, I was under the impression the I Quit match was going to be so bloody and brutal that it would force Jey to acknowledge him as a tribal chief. It's not even like, don't say I quit, say I acknowledge you as a tribal chief.
Yeah, that's what I expected.
Yeah. But now apparently there actually is going to be a consequence as originally stated.
Again, unless it's death, it doesn't make sense.
In Samoan heritage, maybe losing your family history and your family name is worse than death. We don't know.
Oh my God.
Someone's going to have to explain it. That's all it is.
That sounds like what's going to happen. We'll see.
Well, we'll find out on SmackDown this week. And also, for those of you who are WWE Backstage and Talking Smack fans like I am, SmackDown, which by the way is on FS1 for those of you in the States this week because of the World Series, it's going to be FS1 for SmackDown. And then after SmackDown on FS1, Talking Smack will air for 1 hour. It's also WWE Backstage. It's going to be the same thing for 1 hour on FS1 after SmackDown. Enjoy it, because that's what we do. We don't just talk about shitty wrestling. No, we talk about the stuff that we enjoy. And if you enjoy wrestling and you enjoy what we're talking about, you can find us everywhere at Tim and Joel Pod. Tim, where can they find you? Oh, he points to the thing.
Oh, wait, we're a podcast. It is at Tim Stone P, TIMBSTONEP on Twitter. Hit me up.
And the P stands for
Pile Driver.
Oh, okay. Let's start a thing where the P stands for something new every week.
No, it's Pile Driver.
And you can find me everywhere at Joel Pearl. You can find us again, timandjoelpod.com. You can subscribe to us on Twitch. You can subscribe to us on YouTube. And I swear the audio will work next week if you're watching YouTube live. In the meantime, Tim, world, everybody, enjoy your wrestling. We'll see you next week.